everyone, today I'll be reviewing this movie. It's a kind of like a horror, a thriller, mystery movie, and it is dropped on Netflix. I don't know if it's everywhere, but it is on Netflix, and it's called I Still See You, and it is starring Bella Thorne, Dermot Mulroney, Richard Harmon, and this movie is directed by Scott Spear. So in this movie, we learn like after a deadly explosion in a small town where in the explosion many people died in that town, but people who died in that explosion, for some reason their ghost is still around in the city, like they're just there, and this ghost in this movie is called Rams. So Veronica, when she sees all these ghosts in the small town everywhere she goes, like not just her, everyone sees in this movie like this ghost, they're just there doing their stuff every morning. They're doing same thing over and over, just for a few seconds. So I must say the first act for this movie, where it started, I was like, ooh, this movie has very interesting concept, where what if we can actually see the ghost, not just one person, not only the person with the psychic power, everyone actually can see them and they're doing their stuff. When this movie presented to me the first act, I thought, this movie had such a promising start. That's why I don't know how to say this. When we reached to the middle and last act, this movie became so predictable, and halfway through, all the first act so interesting, so engaging. Like in the halfway, this movie becomes so boring, like nothing was going on, like you have to see to believe it, like how slow and boring that was. So in this movie, when one of this ghost named Brian, he comes and threaten Veronica, like he actually doesn't do anything, he just come and write this message for her that run. When she read this message, like immediately as the audience, you see that Brian is not a bad guy, simply because if he was bad guy, why would he say run? Obviously he's trying to reach her, trying to give her a message about run from the situation she might be going in, but immediately our character Veronica, she assumes he's like a bad ghost is trying to hurt her, because this ghost actually can't communicate with the living. They're just trying to pass on little messages here and there. They're not here to do any harm. Again, the first act is very interesting, because everyone can see this ghost there around there. As this movie progresses, how this movie became like kind of like serial killer thing going on. And who is the serial killer in this movie? Of course, the minute you see Dermot Mulroney, he's in this movie. Of course, we can all assume, because he always plays bad guy. Anything I have seen, he's such a good actor, by the way, Dermot Mulroney. I really like him. Although he's playing same character in every other movies and show. He played the same character in A Prodigy Son. Recently, I have seen him. So minute I saw Dermot Mulroney in this movie, and he was a teacher, and he was trying to give her some advice here and there, and some reason it like as the audience you figure it out, he's going to be the bad guy. Although his daughter's situation, the way the first act this movie present, although we are not sure what is happening with his daughter, but I guess once Veronica, she start investigate how everything comes together. Although this movie tried to show us Brian is the bad guy, not for 1 second I believe that. If he was the bad guy, why he would write that message? That means after that, Kirk and Veronica, they goes to investigate this, like the explosion. They try to find out what happened in that explosion, that all the people died. So when they go to that explosion's place, I guess, then you say where this movie for me fell apart, because in that investigation scenes, it's like, oh my god, so slow. They're just walking by all this ghost and nothing was happening. After then they were talking, the professor was working there. After a minute or so, when Kirk, he kind of grabbed this picture of them, like all these people who were working there, he grabbed their picture, and after he goes home and he like sees this, like the one of this researcher is actually the teacher, Dermot August, or I guess Mr. Brittner is the one of the researcher. When he sees that in the picture, he figured it out that Mr. Brittner is the serial killer in this movie. And he, of course, he just goes to his house just like that. And of course, Mr. Brittner tried to kill him and buried him and then his dad saves him. Oh, what a plot convenient. However, the last act for this movie was beautifully shot. I have to say what is true in this movie. So the last act for this movie, however, I thought it was really very beautifully shot. When Veronica was kind of droning, and it was under the ice. I must say all the music choice in this movie was copied from Edward Scissorhands. If you have seen that movie, the way this movie, it was trying to give you the creepy vibe, which never worked here. Because this movie isn't creepy type movie. It's a straight cut mystery thriller. I can see it's a kind of serial killer movie. But anyway, the last scene when we see all the ghost comes and take Mr. Britner to the under the water. Yeah, that scene was quite beautifully shot. And when we thought Veronica is going to drown in the last scene, of course, she was saved by Kirk. So last like 10 minutes, I thought this movie, however, the way it was shot was very beautiful, especially in the ice water scene. Looked really scary, honestly. If you know, it's so cold here. And in the cold water, when you were under the cold water, you know, it's like she was a second away from dying, I guess. Overall, this movie is truly, it's like, could have been really great if it followed through the things. I wish we had spent more time with this ghost, like what is they're doing or what they're thinking. I guess they're just a residue of their, like at the last act in this movie, it tried to tell us that they're just a memory from our mind. And then I was like, oh, you know. Anyway, that's my thought on this movie. Let me know in the comment what do you think about it, and if you enjoyed my review, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to leave your comment, and don't forget to check out my other review on Netflix movie, and please take care.